Hey everyone, welcome back. Ready for another deep dive.
Always.
Awesome. So, this one is interesting. You guys sent in this YouTube video.
Yeah.
The title is Chosen One. From now on, it is God Duty, a richness forever.
Catchy.
Right,
Yeah.
from the Mental Dose channel. I have to say, like right off the bat, the title itself really kind of intrigued me.
Yeah.
This whole idea of being like the chosen one, chosen for abundance, I found it really fascinating. What were your initial thoughts on this?
Well, I thought it was, interesting how right away they're saying, viewers are chosen by God, right?
Yeah.
For this specific path to abundance. And it's effortless. So it's like skipping the whole like work hard, hustle, grind.
Yeah.
And just like let the wealth flow because you're on this divine plan.
Right. So it's less about the hard work and more about aligning with this higher purpose, and then the riches just come. Yeah. I'm kind of curious, like, where does this type of messaging fit into like what we see in society today?
Yeah. I mean, I think it taps into something really powerful, which is this chosen one narrative. Right? Like you think about all the classic heroes, ancient prophecies, even just, those rags to riches entrepreneur stories.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
It's a pattern that we see everywhere,
Okay.
right? And it plays on this deep-seated desire to feel special and destined for greatness.
Absolutely. It's like they're saying, forget the 9 to 5. You're meant for something bigger, something better.
Right. And the video definitely emphasizes that contrast, like almost pitting the chosen ones against the masses, right? The ones who are stuck chasing security through traditional work.
Yeah.
Creates this sense of exclusivity, like you're in on a secret.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
You're part of this special group. Okay,
Yeah.
so you're chosen, you're special. What happens next? How does this actually like translate into abundance?
Well, the video goes beyond just wealth, right? It's promising like this constant flow of resources, peace, and fulfillment.
Wow.
And they use this analogy of a well versus a bucket,
Okay.
right? So traditional money is like the bucket.
Because always you got to keep filling it up.
You always got to keep refilling it. It's leaking.
Right, right.
Divine abundance is the well. Well, it's inexhaustible. It's always flowing.
That's a powerful image. So if traditional work is the leaky bucket, what are the steps, the actionable steps to tap into this wellspring of abundance? Does the video actually tell you how to do that?
Yeah, it gives you a 4-step plan.
Oh, okay.
So first it's about listening, like being attuned to God's guidance.
Yeah.
And then it's recognizing signs, those little synchronicities, those little things that happen that might be pointing you in the right direction.
So paying attention to anything that feels like a nudge from the universe.
Yeah, exactly.
Got it.
Okay.
So what comes after that?
So step 3 is developing your gifts, your talents, your passions. And the video really presents these as clues to your purpose, almost like this divine fingerprint that's guiding you towards your destiny.
So instead of seeing those things as random or just things we're good at, it's framing them as like divinely inspired tools to achieve this abundance.
Yes, exactly.
What's the final step?
Trusting the process.
Okay.
Having faith that everything will unfold as it should.
So it's a mix of active steps: listening, recognizing, developing, and then just surrendering to this higher power. What specific actions, though, does the video recommend people take?
So things like daily reflection, prayer, noticing those coincidences we talked about, and actively cultivating your talents.
So it's not just sitting back and waiting for abundance to just fall into your lap. It's about taking action.
Right. It emphasizes personal action as part of this divine plan.
Okay, I'm starting to see how this all fits together. And it's interesting because some of these practices, they connect with these broader self-help and spiritual traditions.
Absolutely. Like think about mindfulness, gratitude, intention setting, taking action. These are concepts that resonate even outside of a specific religious framework.
So even for someone who isn't particularly religious, there might be some valuable takeaways here. That's a really interesting point. So it seems like we've unpacked the core message of the video. What I'm curious about now is, what does this all mean for the listener?
That's the key question, isn't it? Because it's easy to get swept up in the appeal of being chosen, right?
Yeah.
And this promise of effortless abundance.
Totally.
But to truly understand this information and what it means, we need to look at it critically
Yeah.
and see how it can be applied in a practical, balanced way
Okay.
to our lives.
Let's get into that.
Yeah, so picking up on that practical application,
Yeah.
I think it's fascinating how this video, while it's framed, in this religious context, it really speaks to these universal desires that I think we all have.
Totally. Yeah, like the yearning for purpose and meaning and that draw towards abundance.
Yeah.
I think those are things we all grapple with, whether we're spiritual or not.
Exactly. And I think it's helpful to explore some other viewpoints on these concepts. Like, let's take purpose, for example.
Okay.
Many philosophical and psychological schools of thought, they propose that purpose isn't something that's predetermined, but rather something we create through our choices and actions.
So less about a divine plan that's already set and more about a dynamic path that we kind of forge as we go.
Exactly.
I like that because it really empowers the listener to kind of take ownership of their own journey.
Precisely. It's about figuring out your values, setting goals that resonate with those values, and then taking consistent action, right? So purpose becomes this ongoing journey of self-discovery and growth driven by you.
Yeah, I like that it shifts the focus from waiting for a sign to actively creating your own meaning. But what about abundance, though? Because the video makes it sound almost magical.
Yeah.
Aligned with God's plan and the resources just flow. How do other perspectives view this idea of abundance?
Yeah, well, there are philosophies like Stoicism, for example, that emphasize internal abundance over external possessions.
Okay.
So it's about cultivating contentment, gratitude, and peace within yourself, regardless of your material circumstances.
Okay, so it's not about rejecting wealth or anything.
Right, it's not about saying no to money,
Yeah.
but it's about recognizing that true abundance comes from within.
That makes a lot of sense, and I think that's a really valuable message for the listener, especially in a society that's constantly pushing us to want more.
Absolutely. And this ties into mindfulness practices and even some economic theories that highlight recognizing, when we have enough rather than getting caught in that endless cycle of wanting more.
Yeah, finding that sweet spot between ambition and contentment.
Yeah.
Which feels very relevant to the listener who might be trying to, apply this abundance concept to their own life. Now, the video does outline some practical steps, like listening, recognizing signs, developing gifts, and trusting the process.
Right.
How can we apply those in a more grounded, everyday way, even if someone isn't religious?
Yeah, that's where it gets really interesting. So listening, for example, can be reframed as developing self-awareness.
Okay.
It's about paying attention to your intuition, your gut feelings, that inner voice, what truly excites you. What are you drawn to?
So it becomes less about waiting for this message from above and more about tuning in to what already resonates deep within you.
Exactly.
I can see how that would be a powerful first step for a listener to take.
And then recognizing signs can become about noticing opportunities and being present in your experiences.
Okay.
It's about paying attention to feedback, recognizing patterns, and being open to those unexpected encounters that might guide you in a new direction.
So instead of waiting for a lightning bolt, it's about being engaged with the world around you and noticing the subtle cues that are already there.
Exactly.
Okay, that's a much more practical way to look at it.
And then developing gifts becomes honing your skills, nurturing your passions, and investing in your growth.
Okay.
It could involve taking courses, finding a mentor, or simply practicing your craft consistently.
So taking those natural talents and actively cultivating them rather than waiting for them to magically blossom?
Yes.
I think this is something the listener can start doing right away.
Absolutely. And then trusting the process. This can translate to embracing the journey, knowing there will be highs and lows. It's about having faith in your ability to navigate the challenges, learn, and create a meaningful life.
I really like that it reframes the idea of trust from something external to something within yourself, your ability to learn and adapt. I think that's a key point for the listener to understand.
It is. The video's message, while using this religious language, it really taps into this broader human experience I think we all share.
Yeah.
The desire for purpose, the pursuit of abundance, the drive to grow and discover ourselves. These themes go beyond specific beliefs.
It's like we're uncovering these universal truths within this specific framework, finding ways to apply them to our own lives, regardless of our backgrounds. It's about empowering the listener to take what resonates and leave the rest.
Exactly. And that's the power of thinking critically and approaching things with an open mind.
Yeah.
We can learn from various sources, extract what feels true to us, and create our own path forward.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here.
Yeah.
We unpacked the video's message of being chosen for abundance. We looked at it from different angles and found ways to kind of make it relevant to everyday life.
Right.
What I'm really curious about now is how the listener can put all this into action.
Yeah.
It's one thing to understand it, but how do you actually apply it?
Right. That's the crucial question, isn't it? It's
Yeah.
like having all the ingredients for a delicious meal, but needing that recipe
Right.
to bring it all together.
Yeah.
And like any good recipe, there are key steps to follow.
Okay, so what's the first thing the listener should do after finishing this episode?
Well, I would recommend starting with a simple reflection.
Uh-huh.
Take some time to really think about what truly matters to you. What are your core values? What brings you joy? What kind of impact do you want to have on the world?
So it's about getting clear on your own personal definition of abundance and what a fulfilling life looks like to you, rather than just adopting the video's framework wholesale.
Exactly. It's about finding what resonates with you, what feels authentic.
Okay.
And once you have that clarity, you can start setting goals that align with those values.
Okay.
And remember, goals should be specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound.
So no vague wishes or hoping for the best.
Mhm.
It's about having those clear, actionable goals, those SMART goals everyone talks about.
Precisely, but setting goals is just the foundation.
Yeah.
The real magic happens when you take action, break those goals down into smaller, manageable steps. What's one small thing you can do today
Yeah.
to move closer to that vision?
So it's about creating momentum, consistently taking action, even if it's just baby steps.
Exactly. Progress over perfection. Don't let the need to do everything perfectly paralyze you. Embrace the journey, learn from the stumbles, and celebrate the wins along the way.
And don't be afraid to reach out for support. Find mentors, connect with people who inspire you, build a network that encourages you to grow.
Absolutely. We don't have to go it alone. Surrounding yourself with positive influences can make a world of difference.
The video we discussed talked about developing your gifts and using them for greater purpose. How can the listener take that idea and turn it into something tangible?
I would say think about your passions, those things that light you up.
Yeah.
How can you use your skills and talents to contribute to something you care about? Maybe it's volunteering your time, sharing your knowledge with others, or even starting a side project that aligns with your values.
Finding that sweet spot where your passion meets action.
Yeah.
Creating a life that feels both fulfilling and impactful. I love that.
And remember, the path to purpose and abundance, it's not always a straight line. There will be challenges, setbacks, and times when you question everything. But that's where resilience, perseverance, and that belief in yourself becomes so important.
That's such a valuable message for the listener.
Well-
This isn't about overnight success or a magic formula.
Right.
It's about showing up even when it's tough.
It's about recognizing that you have the power within you to navigate those challenges and create a life that truly reflects who you are and what you want to contribute to the world.
This has been such a great deep dive.
It has.
We unpacked this video's message of being chosen for abundance. We explored all these different perspectives. And most importantly, I think we equipped the listener with some actionable steps to apply these concepts to their own life.
Absolutely.
So to wrap things up, what's the core message here?
The core message is that you have the power to create a life filled with purpose and abundance.
Oh.
It's not about waiting for a sign or relying on some external force. It's about taking ownership, setting intentions, taking action, and trusting the journey.
Beautifully said to everyone listening. Remember this. You are the architect of your own life. Embrace your unique gifts. Cultivate a mindset of abundance and take those bold steps toward the life you envision.
Yes, and never underestimate the power of even the smallest actions. Every step you take, no matter how small, moves you closer to your goals and contributes to a life well lived.
Well said. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
Yes, thank you.
We hope this exploration has sparked some inspiration, given you some practical tools, and empowered you to create a life that's rich with purpose, meaning, and abundance on your own terms.
Absolutely.
Until next time, keep diving deep, keep exploring, and keep creating the life of your dreams.